and welcome to today's City Club Forum. My name is Ralph Delarada, and it is my pleasure to serve as the current president of the City Club of Cleveland. Established in October of 1912, the City Club has served as one of the nation's premier public podiums for civic dialogue, covering the most pressing topics of our time. Our guest speakers, rich in experience and knowledge, are here to spur discussion and learning among the citizens of Cleveland and our wider audience. Our speaker today, Mary Taylor, was sworn into office as Ohio's 31st Auditor of State on January 8, 2007. She is the first certified public accountant to serve as Ohio's Auditor of State. There are important issues currently facing our state's political community on which Mary should be able to educate us. Mary is an asset to the public and a force against corruption. For example, in June of this year, she initiated a special audit investigation of allegations of financial improprieties at the Ohio Attorney General's office under Mark Dan. Auditor Taylor has stated that she takes the allegations of the potential misuse of public funds very seriously, and that her staff will thoroughly examine the potential misspending of public tax dollars at the Attorney General's office and report the findings to the public once the investigation is complete. In addition to State Auditor, Mary is currently a member of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ohio Society of CPAs, where she serves as member-at-large for its council. She has also served as a director for the Akron-Canton chapter and a chair of the Professional Forums Committee. Auditor Taylor previously served as a legislator in the Ohio State House of Representatives, where she sat on several committees, including the House Finance, Ways and Means, and Education committees. During her service in the state legislature, Mrs. Taylor received the Watchdog of the Treasury Award and the National Federation of Independent Business 2006 Guardian of Small Business Award. In addition to the legislative awards, she was recently honored as a 2008 recipient of the University of Akron's Dr. Frank L. Simonetti Distinguished Business Alumni Award. The award was created by the University of Akron College of Business Administration Alumni Board in 1987 to honor distinguished alumni for their achievements in business and significant contributions to their communities. Ms. Taylor obtained a bachelor's degree in accounting and a master's degree in taxation from the University of Akron. She began her career in 1990 with Deloitte & Touche and later joined the regional firm of Bober, Markey, Fedorovich & Company in 1994, where she served as director of the firm's tax department and a senior manager of the employees' benefit practice. Ms. Taylor has also been an adjunct professor at Walsh University, where she has taught accounting. Mary and her husband, Don, and their two sons have lived in Greene, Ohio for the past 20 years. In fact, it is in Greene where she began her career in public service as a city councilwoman. It's my pleasure to introduce this respected leader and public servant. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming State Auditor Mary Taylor.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you, Ralph, for that kind introduction. And thank you for allowing me to fill in this afternoon. I apologize I was a little late, but my younger son we had scheduled to have his braces put on today, so I needed to be there at least for the first part of it, so thank you for your patience. I certainly appreciate it. I am honored, privileged, and humbled to address the City Club of Cleveland this afternoon. I say this because of the long list of distinguished guests who have stood before you to discuss their thoughts and ideas in an open forum. Previous guests have included President George Bush, Presidents Franklin and Theodore Roosevelt, former Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, civil rights activists Rosa Parks, and one of my favorites, President Ronald Reagan. In fact, on January 11, 1989, President Reagan addressed Americans with a farewell speech to the nation and said, "Once you begin a great movement, there's no telling where it will end. We meant to change a nation, and instead we changed a world." I mention this profound quote because of the striking similarities between this mission statement and the mission statement of the City Club of Cleveland. Your mission, as you have outlined, is to inform, educate, and inspire citizens by presenting significant ideas and providing open opportunities for dialogue in a collegial setting. Through this very platform, your education and inspiration has the ability to begin a great movement and affect change not only in Cleveland, in Ohio, in our nation, but also around the world. So I applaud your dedication to our most basic of freedoms, freedom of speech and freedom of assembly. As Ralph noted in his introduction, I am the 31st Auditor of State in Ohio, and I am the first certified public accountant to ever be elected to serve in this position. People have often asked me, do I go about my job differently because I am the first CPA to serve as your Auditor of State? Well, my response is always the same, yes. When I walked through the doors of my office on day one, I brought with me 16 years of professional experience. And I believe that professional experience is an asset to the office, and most importantly, to you, the taxpayers of Ohio. In fact, if it weren't for term limits, I would proudly serve as the Auditor of State for as long as Ohioans would continue to elect me. It is truly a privilege to be elected to a statewide constitutional office and an honor to be the voice of 11.4 million citizens in Ohio. And the best part is that I love my job. And I tell people all the time, I couldn't think of anything that I would rather be doing, except there is one position that I would be interested in. And that is, in fact, if the National Football League called me and asked me to be the commissioner. That is the one job I would take. You see, I am a lifelong Cleveland Browns fan, and I would certainly love the opportunity to work in that environment in a different way. However, let's get back to my real job. As Ohio Auditor, I am focused on finding different and better ways for our office to provide more efficient and effective services to our clients across the state. By the way, we have more than 5,600 clients in our state, which are government entities. In fact, we have 5,617 government entities, but we also want to use the fiscal resources that we are allocated carefully and thoughtfully. We have nearly 900 employees working in 8 regional offices across the state, with our main office in Columbus. We are a national leader in state government auditing and accounting because of the many services that we provide. And we are unique to other government accounting and auditing entities because Ohio law gives our office broad, expansive audit authority. In fact, it says that I am the constitutional officer responsible for auditing all public offices in Ohio, including cities, villages, schools, universities, counties, townships, state agencies, boards, and commissions. And as an elected official and statewide constitutional office holder, I have a vested interest in helping improve the business and regulatory climate here in Ohio. In fact, it was a specific local development issue that solidified my community involvement. I was appointed to serve on City Council in August 2001 and elected to a 4-year term that November. But I soon discovered that I wanted to do more. So I campaigned for a seat in the state legislature and was elected to the Ohio House of Representatives in 2002. In the legislature, I continued to focus my efforts and use my experience as a CPA to support public policies that help create an economic and regulatory climate conducive to business growth and the higher quality of life for our families here in Ohio. In fact, I worked to eliminate the state tangible personal property tax levied against business. I helped to rewrite our state's antiquated tax code. I wrote the Taxpayer Protection Act, and I voted against the largest tax increase in our state's history. But while I was a state representative in the spring of 2005, news broke about a scandal in one of our state agencies. The public's trust and confidence in government had been shattered. Ohio's Bureau of Workers' Compensation had invested $50 million in a rare coin fund. The vendor who sold those coins stole from that fund.